Hi everyone! Today we are going to be talking about Sabian symbols in astrology. This is an introductory video for anyone who would like to look a bit deeper into their charts. The esoteric techniques that I use uncover the spiritual implications of a chart and can help bring about one's enriched sense of purpose. When I was first shown the Sabian symbols about 4 years ago, I was blown away by how accurate they were and how deeply the symbols resonated with my chart. I delved into studying them and have been in awe with how they interweave into a clear message of the cosmos, validating the notion as above, so below. They can be utilized in many ways, including natal readings, timing and understanding the deeper meaning of transformative experiences, guidance during spiritual crisis, working through roadblocks in the retrograde process, and much more. I believe any competent astrologer would benefit from giving these symbols a thorough look. And in this video, I will show you how you can begin to work with them yourselves. In basic astrology, there are multiple planets and celestial bodies, and these bodies are found in a sign and a house. We can make some general statements about a particular planet based on its sign and house position. For instance, say in someone's natal chart, Mars is in Aries in the 5th house. Mars is dignified in Aries, and we can say they are likely to be active, passionate, driven, etc. We can take it further and say in the 5th house they might be passionate about sports or creative pursuits. And now we have some basic parameters, but we want to go deeper. We want to get more accurate, and we want to move away from categorizations and reach the soul potential. The Sabian symbols are a simple and surefire way to get these accurate results on a deeper level. Don't be surprised if synchronicities start popping up around these symbols. They are quite magical, and I find them to be divinely inspired. A Mars at the 1st degree of Aries is going to operate quite differently than a Mars at 13 or 22 degrees of Aries. There is a specific Sabian symbol for each degree of the zodiac. These symbols all have their own unique expression and manifestations. The Sabian symbols were discovered, or to put it better, rediscovered, in 1925 by a clairvoyant named Elsie Wheeler with the help of astrologer Mark Edmund Jones. Later, in 1973, Dane Rudhyar expounded upon these symbols in his book An Astrological Mandala. It is this version of the symbols that I use. Rudhyar had a clear understanding of the process of human evolution and transformation, and his interpretations are the most evolved version of them that I have encountered to date. They strike a resonant chord for those of us who are focused on enlightenment and the unfoldment of creative potential. I strongly recommend anyone who has an interest in the symbols to study Rudhyar's version. You can read the symbols as Rudhyar interpreted them in the link that I will provide underneath the video. So let's go back to the example of Mars in Aries. You pull up a chart that has Mars at 0.43 degrees Aries. Due to the enumeration of degrees, anything from 0.01 to 0.59 Aries is the 1st degree of Aries. 1.01 to 1.59 Aries is the 2nd degree of Aries, continued all around the zodiac. The symbol for the 1st degree of Aries is as follows. A woman just risen from the sea. A seal is embracing her. Emergence of new forms and of the potentiality of consciousness. Impulse to be. This is the shortened version. To read the symbol in full, go to the link provided. This symbol is the first symbol in the 360-degree process of material involution, becoming immersed in Maya. It is about the biological life force. Now let's look at the next degree, Aries 2. A comedian reveals human nature, the capacity to look objectively at oneself and at others, objectification of consciousness. You might be able to see that this degree complements the previous degree, and there is quite a distinction between the two. Aries is often categorized as an impulsive, subjective sign, but this degree represents exactly the opposite. It is about objectivity. I believe that in a mandala, or a circular process of transformation, there is a yin-yang force of duality that can be made apparent with a thorough study into the Sabian symbols. Let's move forward through the sign of Aries. Aries 15, an Indian weaving a ceremonial blanket, projecting into everyday living the realization of wholeness and fulfillment of desire. Aries 21, a pugilist enters the ring, the release and glorification of social aggressiveness, overwhelming power. So we're seeing right off the bat that each degree has its own specific implications. Incorporating these symbols into a reading can bring about more clarity and understanding. We can use the symbols on any planet or point found in the chart to get more information about how it's acting. One great way to use the Sabians is with the chart axis. The cross in the chart represents conflict and action. These are the major action points involved in one's life path. The ascendant represents the who you are as you were born into the world. The descendant represents whom to, or who you are becoming in this lifetime. The MC represents spiritually how you will progress from the ascendant to the descendant, and the IC represents spiritually why you are on this particular path. Let's break this down further with an example of someone we all know. Let's look at Albert Einstein's chart axis. His AC, his who, is at 12 Cancer. A Chinese woman nursing a baby whose aura reveals him to be the reincarnation of a great teacher. The revelation of latent worth in an experience once it is seen in its deeper meaning. Revelation. Now, this symbol is somewhat vague, though it does tell us that there is a potential to be a great teacher of some sort, and there is also the quality to look at the deeper implications of experience. Now we can read further to get a more complete picture, and this is why I stress reading the symbols in their entirety as Rudhyar interpreted them, because they uncover insightful accuracy to a prophetic level. Here's the rest of the symbol. In contrast to the clown symbol, which shows us man's capacity to criticize and laugh at his superficial mannerisms and automatic habits or gestures, we now have a symbol which demands that we look beyond common appearances and try to discover the occult, i.e. hidden character, of every person and every experience. This symbol has been unduly glamorized. There is no particular reference here to an avatar or messiah, except in the sense that every man is potentially the avatar or manifestation of a soul that has a definite and relatively unique function in the vast field of activity we call the earth. To discover this occult potential of being, one requires a deeper or higher vision, a holistic perception, which is usually, but not always justifiably, called clairvoyance. The caricaturist also has to develop a special kind of seeing to enable him to extract the salient features of another personality or a face. He picks out the most characteristic parts of a whole. The true clairvoyant perceives the essential meaning or message and function of the whole. So now we see this symbol is about piecing together the whole, looking into the hidden qualities of life and developing a vision. This is quite accurate for Einstein's who. Being a physicist, he was involved in developing the underlying theories regarding the building blocks of the universe. He was considered by many to have laid out the essential structure of the cosmos. His whom too was at Capricorn 12. An illustrated lecture on natural science reveals little-known aspects of life. The ability to explore unfamiliar realms and discover the laws underlying the complex processes of nature. Exploitation. This is so fitting for Einstein's whom too. His MC or how at 13 Pisces. An ancient sword used in many battles is displayed in a museum. Through the effectual use of his will, a consecrated man can become a symbol of courage for all those who follow in his footsteps. Willpower. This is quite apparent. His formulas were at the foundation of everything from nuclear weapons to space travel to quantum mechanics. His IC or Y at 13 Virgo. A powerful statesman overcomes a state of political hysteria. The focusing of the collective need for order and structural interdependence into a personage who incarnates the answer to this need. Charisma. Let me repeat that phrase. the focusing of the collective need for order and structural interdependence into a personage who incarnates the answer to this need. The need for order and structural interdependence. We can see how closely these symbols tie into Einstein's life path. They are so spot on. The real bread and butter of this technique is to combine the Sabian symbols with the Arabic parts. I will explain this in further detail in a later video. For now, maybe you can see how you might be able to apply the Sabians to your own chart. A lot of people seem to be discouraged by Rudhyar's complex language, but I assure you, with a little bit of effort and study into the symbols, his language will start to be more and more clear as you find them resonating with your own path. I encourage you to read the symbols that align with your natal chart. Live them, breathe them, and be amazed. Eternal love and light.